Then we will now proceed to our virtual public comment.
Great, thank you. First up, we have Audit LA. Audit LA, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Good morning. I'm here to discuss the same things I've been discussing, but today I want to talk about Scientology security, patrolling and policing L. Ron Hubbard Way and the sidewalks beyond the scope of their special event permits. I understand during their special event permits, I guess they're allowed to have security, interfering or interacting, but they are not unless there is a city contract. I do not believe they're allowed to do that, and they are. They interfere with people, just regular people going through. They try to stop it. They police. They ask what you're doing, and they are. So I would really like you guys to stop giving them any kind of special event permits until their behaviors are completely in check. They have not been obeying any of their special permits, including the most recent one. They have not. They had one sidewalk they did not have open, so they're not having signs for it being open. They are. I don't believe they're getting any kind of inspection on their tall structures, like their
Thank
big
you.
water
That's time.
things for children. Thank you. Okay.
Next up, we have Jill. Jill, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to just ditto what Audit just said about the security, and also I'm just going to add about the parking. You need to start charging or getting parking opened up on L. Ron Hubbard Way. They're covering up things in that building still. You need to be probably sending in roving inspections when they have their events. I also suggest that you get the book called Child X by Jamie Mustard. It tells you what happens to the babies, or happened to the babies born into that cult of Scientology, and you would be at horror. It's like a little concentration camp where they warehouse babies and let them sit in their poop for weeks, and they don't bathe them, they don't give them any kind of nurturing, they get failure to thrive. It's like a little baby concentration camp that you had under your nose. You would be horrified. I need you to read that book and you'll see what we're talking about. Bye.
Thank you. Next up, we have Miriam. Miriam, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
I hope you had a great break. I also want to pick up where you left off from last time, and I actually made a little quiz in case you have forgotten some of the key points. The first question is, which street in LA has been marked with illegal no parking signs for the past 14 years? Ding, 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 ding. Oh, yes, that's correct. L. Ron Hubbard Way. Next question. Which street was paved by slave labor, including small children? Ding, 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 ding. Yes, correct. L. Ron Hubbard Way. Third question. Which street is continuously held hostage by Scientology events and blocked from First Amendment protesters by armed security? Ding, 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 ding. Yes, jackpot. L. Ron Hubbard Way. Bonus question. How long term do the Sea Organization, Scientology slave labor department serve? You got that one right too. 1 billion years. Now let's get back to work. Thank you.
Thank you. President King, we have 2 additional hands raised. Shall I check if they'd like to make general public comment?
Yes, please.
Georgina McPhee, are you wishing to make general public comment or multiple agenda item comment this morning?
General public comment, please.
You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I am calling in about L. Ron Hubbard Way also. I don't understand why that street isn't accessible to parking for the neighborhood. It's a strange thing to have a whole street dedicated to this church, especially when this church has such known atrocities that are easily researchable. And if this street ends up getting closed off for them, like they're trying to do with this street vacation, that closes off any avenue of escape that the people that are in Scientology that are trying to get out have. Some of them don't have any access to the public or leaving the facilities at all. This road that they have to cross is their only glimmer of hope of getting out. And to close it off for all these events is ridiculous. To close it off to parking is ridiculous. Have you Googled Maureen Bolstad yet? Have you Googled Lisa
Thank you. That's
McPherson?
time.
Thank you.
Next, we have a speaker, Laura FM. Are you wishing to make general public comment or multiple agenda item comment this morning?
Hi, yeah, just general comment.
You have
comment,
you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Okay, I was born and raised in the cult of Scientology. I've spoken about this before, and I see that a lot of people have jumped on this call to express their experiences dealing with protesting Scientology, and obviously all of their parking meters and their street closures and all this. I want to make it a very big point to the people or anybody allowing Scientology with all these permits This is just a way that Scientology uses, and believe me, from somebody born and raised in this, I know this is something they use to and make it seem like they're here in the city, helping the city with their permits. Yet nobody shows up to these events. The Scientology events are empty. L. Ron Hubbard Way, when they have events there, are empty. They're full of Scientologists, maybe 20 tops people. So please look at what the intentions are with Scientology having and requesting permits constantly on L. Ron Hubbard Way.
Thank you. That's time for today. President Kang, that's it for our general public comments.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close the general public comment portion of today's meeting and move on to multiple agenda item public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item period for up to 1 minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item, and please identify the items you will speak on when you are called. Since we have no in-person speaker cards, we will transition to our virtual platform.
Thank you. We have one caller on our virtual platform. That's Audit LA. You indicated you'd like to speak on all items. You have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you. First, I want to discuss the bids, putting out bids. And, I've been saying this for a year, that it's really hard for me to believe, to fathom that anyone would have to sit there and discuss and beg and plead and try to ask Public Works to not allow, to make sure that they vet any bid, any company, to make sure there's no slave labor going on, because, and I'm asking for each one of these bids, because, it sounds ridiculous. At first I'd be like, are you, like, I would think that maybe people are crazy until you start looking at what Scientology does. Okay. So they are absolute proof that there are groups that will get, but they go against the law, but they kind of they say, well, it's a religious exemption. Okay. Well, it's not a religious exemption if you're working on a street. So if they're working on, say, they get a project for L. Ron Hubbard Way, which they do, and they doing all this labor on L. Ron Hubbard Way, that is not a religious experience. Okay, I could see getting maybe labor modifications if they're ministers and doing feeding people in the disaster, whatever. I understand that. But when you're talking public works, there's no exemption. So there are groups who profit off the backs of laborers, whether it's their own people that they are controlling, or whether it could be other groups. It's not just Scientology. It's just that Scientology woke me up to this phenomenon, because I had zero idea that this was going on in America in 2025. And I am so happy that we do have a former labor president. I know that I know that this matters to him. I know it matters to the board. But you just may be saying, well, there's none of these companies are going to be doing that. But how do you know? There's a lot of companies owned by Scientology people that they're outside, they're independents or whatever, but they own this, and who knows if they have Sea Org members working for them for $47 a week. They very well could, if they're not vetted. And if it's not Scientology, it could be another group who, it's not just foreign countries like in China or Dominican Republic, where there's these sweatshops, okay, and slave labor. It is happening here in America. We need to wake up to it. It needs to stop. And I'm begging you to stop giving permits to ones who do this. And then as far as any of the projects, for tiny homes and all that stuff, I fully support that. But at the same time, I'm asking you with any of these contracts that you do look into and pay attention to the people's money, that you vet everything carefully, make sure
Thank
that
you.
everything
That's
is
time.
done. Thank you.